All right, I'm on today with Taylor D. Rhodes of Rocky Mountain Gun Owners. How are you today, sir?
Man, every day's a holiday.
Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being on.
Thanks so much for having me.
So I found you guys because I was looking into an issue that's happening in Colorado right now, and the Colorado legislature is looking at passing an assault weapons ban. You received an advance copy of that legislation and published it to Twitter. Just so people can kind of understand, can you kind of give us an overview of what's happening with this bill and what Colorado is looking to do right now?
Right. So on Saturday, an unlikely ally handed over this bill, and realizing how crazy and dramatic it actually is. This bill, I'll talk into some more of the details, but it actually goes further than even California's assault weapons ban or Illinois' assault weapons ban that passed just yesterday. So what this bill does is it essentially bans not only every semi-automatic rifle, magazine-fed semi-automatic rifle, but a vast majority of pistols and even shotguns. One of the things that the bill specifically says is that if the rifle has a shroud, meaning a handguard essentially, if it has a shroud that completely or partially covers the barrel, then it is illegal under Colorado law if this bill shall pass.
So that essentially outlaws almost every major sporting rifle that's available.
Correct. Yeah, and they give you a grandfather clause that you can keep it, but there's a ton of hoops you have to jump through, and it's an affirmative defense, meaning due process is out the window. They want you to be able to prove that you're not a criminal.
Now, I took a look through this bill, and I saw some things. I mean, there's a ton of fake news and just misinformation that litters this piece of legislation. I'm going to read from the actual bill. I'm starting on line 13, and I'll put it on the screen for anybody who's watching. But assault weapons and high-capacity magazines were disproportionately used in public mass shootings. Of these shootings with known weapons type, 76% of those involved an assault weapon or high-capacity magazine, compared to 44% of those that involved a handgun. That information flies in the face of actual statistics from the Department of Justice, which says that notably most individuals who engaged in mass shootings use handguns by a margin of 77%. 25% used assault rifles in the commission of their crimes. What do you make of the fact that even among public officials, they're still pushing out debunked narratives that justify these encroachments on our Second Amendment rights? What do you make of the fact that these people who are responsible for crafting laws still get basic facts completely wrong?
Right. So the old line goes, how do you know a politician's lying? It's because their lips are moving. In this case, it's because they were writing on a keyboard. The politicians, especially these anti-gun politicians in Denver at our state capitol, are in lockstep with the Bloomberg anti-gun lobby. And frankly, they're just doing what they're told. They probably didn't even read this bill. The Bloomberg lobby said, yep, this is good. It's time to pay the piper. We've helped you along the way. It's time to pay up. So let's get this law on the books. So no, of course they didn't read it. They don't care to read it. They don't care about facts. They don't care about anything. They just care about, the scary rifles that are on the street that they have no idea about.
And even when it comes to people talking about mass shooting statistics, I've noticed a shift over the last couple of years as they've become more emboldened to want to outlaw guns completely. They've started including actual gun crimes committed by gangs, et cetera, as the overall mass shooting statistic.
Sure.
They didn't used to do. And it seems like the only time they really care about violence in Chicago or some of these cities that are riddled with gangs, or suicide stats, which also factor into gun-related homicides, which they never want to talk about.
Right.
The only time they do talk about it is when they're pushing this legislation to strip away Americans' gun rights, and they don't provide the proper context to their constituents.
Right. Yeah, that's 100% true. They operate out of fear, right? They want you to be scared to say, hey, we want to do something about this. They want to make a bigger issue than it may be. So they are operating out of that fear mongering, fear tactic, which frankly they accuse us of, right? So it's kind of funny that they They don't look at the actual facts and statistics. They manipulate those facts. One of the biggest facts that's manipulated is the term mass shooting. So almost every state in the country has a different definition for, mass shooting. The FBI has a different definition. So what definition are they using? Are they using Colorado's definition? I think of 3.5, so meaning 4 or more. Are they using Texas's definition, which I think is 2, or are they using the FBI's definition of 3? So it's kind of all over the place of what definitions they want to use, and they're mixing those facts up to make it fit their narrative.
You think it's intentional?
Oh, 100% think it's intentional.
And I saw recently this week as well that Illinois has just passed an assault weapons ban, and Moms Demand Action, I think, is the group that's sort of taking the victory lap right now.
Yeah, the commie mommies, as I call them.
And I understand, wanting to stop gun crime and wanting to prevent mass shootings, especially when it comes to school shootings.
Sure, of course.
But I think, they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Actually, Thomas Sowell said the road to hell is paved with Ivy League degrees.
Right.
But I think in this pursuit of a need and a desire for government to simply do something, they're doing the wrong thing, because none of the laws that are being pushed have done anything to lower gun crime.
Right. Yeah. Some of the things that we always talk about that actually does help. I mean, you see states that have passed, what we call constitutional carry, meaning if you can legally possess that firearm, you can legally carry that firearm. That tends to bring down crime numbers, especially in schools. I mean, we talk about background checks, or not background checks. We talk about gun-free school zones. Gun-free school zones or gun-free zones in general are kind of like a letter to Santa Claus, right? They make us feel good. They make us, we've done something. But when push comes to shove, if you're a mass killer and you're going to go kill 19 kids at a school, you don't care about a sign that says no guns allowed. You're getting the electric chair, or you're dying in the crime already. So we have to equalize the playing field, and when dealing with criminals, because in by definition, criminals are going to break the law.
Yeah, that's what makes a criminal a criminal. Murder's already against the law. Assault's already against the law. All these things they're already committing 30 crimes when they engage in a mass shooting.
Right.
From what I think I saw on either your website or Twitter page, that you guys are expecting to incur about $1 million in costs trying to fight this new Colorado law.
That's correct. So for the viewers that may not be familiar with Rocky Mountain Gun Owners, or our parent organization, the National Association for Gun Rights, right now we're in 5 circuit courts fighting assault weapons bans and standard capacity magazine bans. We actually started right here in Colorado. A small town of Superior, just south of Boulder, Colorado, enacted a magazine ban that's stricter than our current laws, and a assault weapons ban that's nearly just as crazy as this. So we knew we had to sue immediately. And frankly, with the Bruin decision gave us a 10-pound wrecking ball, or 10-ton wrecking ball, to go through and, dismantle all of these unconstitutional gun laws that our leftists are pushing to disarm law-abiding Americans. So yeah, of course, we will sue. Our attorneys and our finance teams believe that each lawsuit that we take on is going to cost about $750,000 to $1 million per party to defend. So you're talking about costing not only us, but then the taxpayers another $750,000, and potentially, because of the way that civil cases are set up, we could request that money be paid back to us when we win.
And these bills are almost certain to be struck down by either an appeals court or the Supreme Court at this point. It's like they're specifically to try to bleed people of money.
Right. It is. It's 100% their case. And that's what we've seen on a lot of these, is they want to take us out of the halls of the Capitol, and they want to try to bleed us dry. It's their simple strategy. The left has traditionally had more money than the right, especially on a grassroots effort like us. And so, of course, they want to bleed us dry.
So for people who want to support you, where can they find you guys?
So if you want to get involved, I would encourage you to go to rmgo.org/AWB. That's going to direct you to a petition to sign that we will deliver at our expense to the legislators at the Capitol. If they do want to join as members, just Rocky Mountain Gun Owners, or rmgo.org. And in the top right corner, you'll see a join button. It's $30 a year to become a member. But if you can do more, please do. We need every penny we can get right now.
Awesome. Taylor Rhodes, thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate you having me on.